other areas
Mm-hmm.
of the nation, California, they might be able to jump in on this. I
Right.
suppose if maybe this is one of those few pieces of legislation that does have bipartisan support, maybe they can get this passed up in D.C. But we'll wait and see what happens with that. Dante Galeazzi joining us, International Growers Association, on water issues, Mexico paying back, local growers getting access allocations to all that.
The NL with 3 home runs in the victory. I'm Dave Anthony.
News Talk 710 KURV, broadcasting from the Valley's All-American Truck Headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
It is a Wednesday edition of the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. It's now July 16th, 2025. Thank you much for waking up with us on the radio, and also join us at Radio Para Mí. You went to sleep looking at your cell phone. You could be waking up with Radio Para Mí, listening to 710 KURV on your phone. Download it today. Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. I'm Sergio Sanchez. In the news, federal funeral services for a Border Patrol agent who died while trying to save his kids from a rip current at South Padre Island, will be held in Brownsville next week. Supervisory agent Eric Cespedes died on Friday at South Padre. His body was escorted from Harlan to a funeral home in Brownsville by a caravan of law enforcement officers yesterday. Visitation for Cespedes will be held on Sunday. Funeral mass set for Monday. It's 7:06 on the Valley's Morning News. President Trump saying he wants an upcoming redistricting effort in Texas to result in 5 more Republican congressmen from Austin. Governor Greg Abbott has added congressional redistricting to the agenda for the special legislative session that will start next Monday. Update on Central Texas and all that flooding. We now know that 133 people lost their lives as a result of Central Texas flash flooding. But with more than 100 others still missing, Governor Greg Abbott saying he's trying to stay focused with authorities in Kerrville.
More people have now died in the flooding than during Hurricane Harvey back in 2017. But Governor Greg Abbott says first responders plucked people trapped in trees or in cars washed away.
There's countless different ways in which people were rescued. Hundreds of lives were saved by emergency responders.
Abbott told sheriffs here in Fort Worth for their annual conference the special session starting next week will have to include a plan to improve early warnings and improve communication among different agencies.
We have to get that done and get it done right. Your input in this upcoming session will be very valuable.
Abbott also says counselors at Camp Mystic might have been just 18 years old themselves, but they were helping even younger girls get to high enough spots to be safe.
An update on fundraising in the race for U.S. Senate. Latest figures showing Senator John Cornyn is outpacing Ken Paxton.
According to Axios, Cornyn raised $3.9 million in the second quarter, and pro-Cornyn Super PAC raised roughly $11 million. Paxton's campaign raised $2.9 million during the second quarter, and a pro-Paxton Super PAC raised $1.85 million. Axios says Cornyn's campaign now has roughly $6 million more in cash to spend. While Paxton is leading Cornyn in many polls, some Republicans are concerned that a Paxton nomination could jeopardize the party's hold on the seat.
It's 7:08 on News Talk 710 KURV, the Valley's morning news, also online on different platforms. Producer Freddie puts us on 710 KURV X and 710 KURV Facebook, and also on YouTube. You can join us there and rewind also. It's AccuWeather time, and AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine joining us. I want to say thank you first to Dougie and all the gang at Martin Farm and Ranch, certified dealer for Purina liquid feed. It's Martin Farm and Ranch in Edinburgh. You stop by, say hi to Dougie for us. Well, let's look at the remainder of the week. Now we're midweek. Remainder of the week. Chance of rain for us, Jeffy. I know some people report on and off, a few clouds here and there, maybe a few sprinkles. Might that just be the scenario for the rest of the week? Just maybe a few sprinkles here and there?
That would be about it. If there's any precipitation at all, it's going to be very, very light, that mist sprinkle type. In fact, the next 7 to 10 days are showing dry and hotter with temps in the upper 90s and low to mid 100s. I'm going to jump right into tropical coverage just because there's some updates with the tropical rainstorm. As much as I want to say that is expected to head west into Texas, it is to a point, but not into South Texas. So it looks like Houston area is the furthest, it'll get. And then it kind of fizzles out once it gets to like Arkansas.
Okay. What's the forward speed of that thing? I know it's dumping a bunch of rain in Florida. And then, of course, as it continues to head west, how many days will it be in the forecast? 2-3 days before it goes to Southeast Texas? What's the plan?
Looks like it's going to be moving pretty slow. In fact, like the forecast shows it parked over like southern Mississippi into southeastern Louisiana for at least a day or two, and then it gradually pushes through into Friday morning, that is, to southeast Texas. So it takes its time. It's a slow moving, disturbance is what we've been calling it, or tropical rainstorm.
Yeah. And you don't think we'll get any residual, like long distance, dust up some rain, nothing from this as a result?
The overall trend says no.
Okay.
There's a couple opportunities towards like Corpus maybe, but anything more to the west or southwest of that, I think is a near zero chance.
You know how it is? It's such a wide, big area that it covers in the atmosphere. Sometimes at the far reaches, it'll start creating a few showers.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that we should learn from is what Barry did. The energy that Barry had gave the flooding to Central Texas.
Yeah, if you go what But Jeffrey Nordine is talking about if you're able to do a rewind, and there's plenty of places you can go do a rewind on what happened with Barry. Barry was like nothing, like a nothing burger in Mexico.
Right.
But that little low kept spinning, and then eventually went into Texas, and that's when.
And it just parked there.
Yeah, it made a mess of things up there.
Right.
All right, pal, taking a look at, let's see, Texas travel, good, right? We're good for Texas travel today.
Yeah, Dallas and San Antonio are dry, but as mentioned, Houston will see some showers and storms starting tomorrow night into Friday, actually.
We celebrate our future overlords. We celebrate AI today, and
Okay.
it's National Hot Dog Day. And man, there's like so many different hot dogs. I got a quick list of when I think hot dogs, I think of like New York dogs, Chicago style dogs. Mexican hot dogs are they're to die for. Avocado, wrapped bacon, all those things. Yeah. But then there's what's the weirdest one that I saw? The Georgia dog. Open hot dog bun, sliced hot dog. I don't know why you slice it up. So cheese, chili, chopped onion, sliced pickle, oyster crackers. Why? Why not oysters?
Because those things are actually pretty good.
I mean, not oysters, oyster crackers. Just
Yeah, no, I know.
Put some of them on there.
They're still good though. Like if you get the right brand. What's the help me out here? They're saltine crackers from the same brand.
Oh yeah. It's
so you got to get that brand and put them on your hot dog.
Okay, well, it's worth a try. I tell you, one I'm trying is the Seattle dog, which I just discovered this morning. Bratwurst, cream cheese, sliced raw jalapeno, chopped cabbage sriracha sauce.
Oh, that actually is mouthwatering.
Yeah.
And by the way, real quick, I know I got to run here, but 7-Eleven, Circle K has some hot dog deals. So got any of those or Doghouse?
National Hot Dog Celebration, yeah.
Yep.
You know what I missed? Thank you, Jeffy. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay.
Meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. You know what I missed, Freddie? Is Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah, we used to have one here near the radio station, and they packed up, left town. Come on back. Wiener Schnitzel, come back. I think the closest place might be Corpus right now. Let's see, time is 7:13 on the Valley's Morning News. This is the topic of conversation coming up in just a few minutes. You might want to stick around. The U.S. government saying that they're placing a 17% duty, a new tariff, on most fresh Mexican tomatoes after negotiations ended without an agreement.
Proponents say the import tax will help rebuild the shrinking U.S. tomato industry. Mexico currently floods the U.S. market, supplying about 70% of the tomatoes sold in the U.S., more than double what it was 2 decades ago.
The Mexican tomato market has just flat ruined the American tomato growers. We've lost most of our tomato production.
But opponents say the tariff will make fresh tomatoes more expensive for U.S. buyers. Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller says that's false.
Consumers not going to get hurt. We can gear those up. Tomatoes a quick crop, 60-day crop, 90 days tops. It gives us another opportunity to take assets we already have and put them back to work.
Not only that, but Miller says it'll create hundreds of jobs and help reduce the ag trade deficit.
Time is 7:15 on the Valley's Morning News. And attacks on federal immigration agents are up 800%. And one of the president's closest advisors knows exactly why.
Speaking this week in Texas, the president's border czar is blaming Democrats for this recent surge of violence. Tom Homan told a sheriff's conference that lawmakers are comparing ICE agents to Nazis.
For those people that are unhinged, they feel emboldened when a member of Congress can attack ICE and comparing them to Hitler.
And Homan shot back at those who want to ban the federal agents from covering their faces. He says some are being ID'd online, leading to threats against them and their families.
Time is 7:16. This is News Talk 710 KURV, Valley's Morning News for a Wednesday. We invite you to join us at Radio Para Mí. Download that free app and listen via your smartphone. The app is called Radio Para Mí. Download it. It is free.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Do you have the right financial advisor to help you navigate where you want to go? With life's twists and turns, having a trusted expert by your side can make all the difference. An Ameriprise advisor will take the time to truly understand what's important to you, crafting a personalized strategy tailored to your goals and needs. Whether you're preparing for the expected or the unexpected, they'll help you stay on track with regular reviews and digital tools designed to give you clarity and control. With an Ameriprise advisor, you can feel more confident, connected, and in charge of your financial future. Call Ameriprise Financial Advisor David Barnes today at 956-772-4200, 956-772-4200. His office is conveniently located at 3008 North McCall Road, Suite B in McAllen. Ameriprise Financial cannot guarantee future financial results. Not FDIC or NCUA insured. No financial institution guarantee. May lose value. Securities offered by Ameriprise Financial Services, LLC. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Fox on Tech.
It's time for you to stop watching so much slop online. Slop is the term now being used to describe content, namely video, that is easily and cheaply produced by generative artificial intelligence. It's quickly become prevalent on social media networks such as YouTube, but also TikTok and Instagram's Reels. The problem isn't so much that AI is used to create it, more that what is created by the AI is often of little entertainment or informative value. It's designed to game a particular algorithm to draw in viewers and be monetized. In the end, it just wastes the viewer's time. Now, YouTube is changing rules in its partner program, possibly to address the matter. In a blurb on its support page, YouTube is reiterating that creators looking to make money need to be uploading original and authentic videos, and that repetitious content will soon be more quickly identified. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Charlie Kirk here, host of The Charlie Kirk Show. Join me as we dive deep in the headlines and challenge the narrative and uncover the stories that matter to you. Weeknights starting at 8 on News Talk 710 KURV.
The Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, your station for Houston Astros play-by-play. The second part of the season starts up on Friday. Astros broadcast on 710 KURV. Made possible by the Mission Economic Development Office. Big thank you as well to Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women. Anytime there is a storm or flooding, issues like that, of course, the topic of insurance pops up. And from the Insurance Council of Texas, Richard Johnson, Communications Director at the Insurance Council of Texas. Appreciate you joining us today on this tropical season special here on KURV. Off air, I was speaking with Rich about a couple of things, so let me bring that to the table real quick.
Sure.
The Central Texas disaster, from an insurance perspective, how do you see it? Any initial estimates of what might be the cost of that? How is insurance involved in this, if at all? You know, because we're looking at situations where we have campsites and trailer parks and things like that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's just been a kind of a whirlwind week, and which is how it always is whenever we have some sort of catastrophe, whether it's a hurricane or wildfires. But really, flood is just such a different aspect to it because for the most part, your property, your regular, typical property insurance isn't going to cover flood. Flood is a separate policy that you actually purchase. You can typically purchase it through your real estate agent, but it's actually underwritten and funded by the federal government and FEMA. So the impact to insurance companies, and everybody always wants to go, well, how is this going to impact our rates and our premiums? And we just don't know because it is you look at things on the totality, and it's not like, oh, this one event is going to impact rates. And so this is really going to be a big auto issue. It's those flooded cars, from an insurance company, from the private sector standpoint. This is going to be more of an auto event than it is a property event.
On flood insurance, and I was talking to Rich about this off air. At one point, insurance policies did include flooding, right? Like flood issues. So when did that splinter off and said, this is too expensive, we need a standalone product for something like that?
Yeah, it was back in the 70s, really. It just became so massive that insurance companies just couldn't take on that risk. So they had to figure out a program nationwide. And this is something that's very different. Flooding can happen anywhere and does happen anywhere, as opposed to, say, like earthquakes or hurricanes. Earthquakes are very, although they can kind of happen anywhere, we know that they're pretty much going to happen. California, West Coast. Hurricanes is going to be the Gulf Coast and a little bit of the East Coast. And so you can see there's pockets of areas that do get excluded or exclusions because they just are so massive and so expensive. And flooding is just unique because it is one of those things that you can't really carve out geographically like you can some of these other perils that would just kind of make it just too risky and too expensive to insure.
With the Insurance Council of Texas, Richard Johnson joining us. For folks who are near the coast, Cameron County, Willacy County, around here, things they should remember when it comes to trying to insure their property, either flooding or just damage from winds and things like that. What do they need to keep in mind?
Yeah, the biggest thing is check your policies. Do it now. Try to do it every couple months. I try to do it twice a year. Look at your policies. Make sure you know your deductibles. Make sure you know your coverages. And talk to your insurance professional just to make sure that your home is insured adequately as well. Make sure that you have enough coverage. Put together a home inventory. That's a list of all your, kind of valuable items, but taking pictures or video of all the rooms in your home, just to show, just have record of what you had. Because when you're struck with something, a total loss, whether that's fire or hurricane, you don't want to be thinking back, oh boy, I had, this type of TV or, these types of plates. So just to get a record of it now and email it to yourself. Those are the big things that people seem to forget, when we get into this kind of catastrophe amnesia. Of course, the coast had Beryl just last year. But before that, it was 2017 when we had Harvey. And so people tend to forget. And then if you are on the coast and you don't have flood insurance, look into it, because that is something that, as we've talked about, is not covered by your typical homeowner's insurance.
Yeah, it's in for and flood policies, for example. Well, around here, it's easy to delineate between what is the coast and not. You mentioned Harvey up in Houston, and that's what I grew up in. In Harris County is real close to Galveston County, which is on the coast. And there's almost no differentiation, but I guess Harris County is far enough inland where the whole issue of flood or windstorm insurances might not be an issue as compared to what Cameron County, Willacy County down here.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although the Harris County actually there are portions of Harris County that
touch
actually
the coast.
qualify for like TWIA. It's considered the coast. So that TWIA policy, that Texas Wind Insurance Association policy, actually takes effect there. And really, when it comes to flooding, it's almost 70% of flood claims actually happen in low risk flood areas. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't need flood insurance because I'm not in a flood risk area," but if it rains somewhere, it can flood. And it's not just, I'm on a coast or I'm near a river or a creek. There could be other issues that can cause flooding as well.
Richard Johnson with the Insurance Council of Texas. It takes a month, right? 30 days. Once you buy flood insurance, it'll take 30 days for it to kick in.
That is correct. So if you went and you purchased a policy today on July 14th, you wouldn't have a policy until August 14th. So that's something that is unique and different that you need to be aware of, especially we are in hurricane season. And this, hurricane season really ramps up when we get into July and August. And so it is that 30-day waiting period.
So how does that work where you buy it, let's say it's July 15th, for example, 12 noon. It kicks in on the 15th at 12 noon, something like that, right? Based on clock or just calendar?
You mean for an insurance for a typical insurance policy? Yeah, there's usually some sort of clock, but it is usually a 24-hour window when it comes to, and it's kind of a contingent policy. And sometimes, if there is a storm, there's also times where there's a storm off the coast and you can't just call and say, oh, I need a policy. They'll usually put a moratorium on those things, but it is usually a 24-hour clock where a normal policy would.
And that's on the flood side. On buying other insurance on a property, when there is
Yep,
a
that's
name,
what I'm talking
right?
about. Yep. On the flood side, though, it is a month.
Okay.
It's a month from the day that you purchase. I'm sorry, I was talking about your typical homeowner's policy that has
Okay.
that 24-hour window.
So let's talk about a storm in the Gulf headed this way, and you need insurance for your property. You can't get it, right? Until the named storm dies or stops being a named storm.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah, that's correct. So
Okay.
for the most part, if there is insurance companies, they go to the Texas, let's say it's here in Texas, they'll go to the Texas Department of Insurance. They'll say, hey, there's this storm off. We need to file for, we need to put moratoriums on new policies in, XYZ counties or this particular area.
There we go.
And it's usually typically granted just because you can't just go ahead and buy a policy and
that's
expect that to
that's
cover you the next day when it comes to something's on the front.
10-4. Anything else you want folks to remember during this tropical season? Either they presently have the insurance, maybe even flood insurance, or maybe they have a TWIP policy there at the coast. What do you want them to remember as we're right now, approaching the middle of the season in August, September?
Yeah, we are approaching the season again. Check those policies, get that home inventory, and put together some sort of plan and an emergency kit. We always try to talk about that as well. And check your deductibles. A lot of people are trying to save money. They're lowering their deductibles here and there, but could you really afford that deductible should the worst happen? So deductibles are an important thing. And then when it comes to cars, that comprehensive coverage, it's not collision, it's not liability. You have to have that comprehensive coverage in order for flood or hurricane or wind or a tree to hit your car. All those things are comprehensive. If you don't have that comprehensive coverage, any damages, it's going to be out of pocket.
Well, there we go. That's one big issue I didn't touch. I'm glad you mentioned it. We call it full coverage. You call it comprehensive coverage. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Comprehensive is a separate, so you have your collision and your liability, which you're required to have by state, but then there's that comprehensive coverage that, is hail, wind, trees,
the premium product.
Yep, exactly.
10-4. Richard, thank you. And I hope, I look forward to speaking with you again. I just hope it's not because of a storm or something like that. Thank you, Rich.
Absolutely. Anytime.
He's with the Insurance Council of Texas, Communications Director Richard Johnson. Thank you for joining us today on 710 KURV 2025 Tropical Season Special. Be well, brother. The Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, a service of Jay Gonzalez Injury Attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH. Nicotine pouches growing in popularity, but so are accidental poisonings.
A new study in the journal Pediatrics shows that the rate of accidental poisonings linked to nicotine pouches increased nearly 800% from 2020 to 2023. Dr. Sean Varney, who heads the South Texas Poison Center, says kids see their parents sticking them in their mouths.
That little tin looks like candy or looks like something that they're curious about. They're going to probably put one or two in their mouths.
That's what kids do, he says, and all that slobber makes the pouches dangerous, especially if more than one is popped in the mouth. He says they get calls all the time regarding nicotine exposure to kids, and he says it requires emergency care.
That's reporter Michael Board. President Trump saying that the U.S. is destined to be the world's #1 superpower in artificial intelligence.
He spoke at the inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit on Tuesday.
This is a really triumphant day for the people of the Commonwealth and for the United States of America.
The event brought together some of the top leaders and investors in energy and AI. Trump announced $90 billion worth of private investments in AI and energy in Pennsylvania. He said the state is retaking its place at the forefront of energy. I'm Brian Shook.
And let me close out with a bizarre story. Check this out from Pennsylvania. A paranormal investigator has died while on tour with the Annabelle doll from the movie The Conjuring.
The New England Society for Psychic Research says Dan Rivera died suddenly over the weekend in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Rivera was on tour with the doll, made famous in the Conjuring horror movie series. It's not clear how the 54-year-old died. The Psychic Research Group says Rivera truly believed in sharing his experiences and educating people on the paranormal. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay. Wonder where he is right now, right? This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, Wednesday edition. Join us online. Radio Para Mi. Download that free app. Check of sports up next on 710 KURV.
pain management specialist, Dr. Dennis Slavin, on patients who've had back surgery but are still in pain.
Many patients I see who have undergone back surgery complain that the ugly pain radiating down their thigh and leg is still present. What's worse, they're told there's nothing else that can be done and are stuck to a life of limited physical activity and reliance on pain medication. I may have the answer for you: spinal cord stimulation. I have a treatment specific for this radiating discomfort called neuropathic pain. This treatment has been around since the 1960s, but with recent computer modeling technique, delivery of precise electrical signals can replace that pain with a massaging sensation that translates to less pain, less reliance on pain meds, and return to an active life. This technology is cutting edge and lives in a comfortable room at my office. Patients are amazed by the pain relief. They wonder why they waited so long to be feeling better at last.
Learn more about Feeling Better at Last by signing on to feelingbetteratLast.com or call Dr. Slavin 973-0565.
I love celebrating my good friends over at all El Pato restaurants. You know, and despite all the upheaval and changes and what's taking place in the world, you know that $5.99 price for the daily specials has not changed. And it's a lot of food. And we do this several times over at our house. We just stack up those plates. You know, everybody's busy, school and work and university, all that stuff. Let's just stop by El Pato. In fact, I phone it in. I got a couple of locations I normally go to. I phone it in. They already know me. Hey, Mr. Sanchez, what's going on? Stack up those plates. And every day of the week, they got a different special. Could be chicken enchiladas. Oh, so cheesy. Get the yellow cheese. Because you can get chicken too, right? But you just get the yellow. That's just me. I love that scrumptious yellow cheese from El Pato. Rice and bean. They got carne guisada, chicken guisado, taquitos mexicanos. Different day of the week, different $5.99 special. Stack up those plates. And right now, the big special, the limited time special at all El Pato, the enchiladas would be 2 chicken or cheese enchiladas, plus the pato, the taco, filled with fajitas, fresh off the skillet. It's all hot and fresh, rice, bean, and the drink. And amazing, only $9.99 at all El Pato restaurants. You're hungry right now. Get some breakfast tacos, some breakfast patos right now at all El Pato locations.
Michael Berry, host of The Michael Berry Show, inviting you to join Sergio Sanchez, my buddy, for The Sergio Show. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Potami app.
The 710 KURV Sports Desk is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women.
The Texas Longhorns football squad continues to make big strides in the 2026 recruiting cycle. Texas currently ranks 6th in the country for the 26 cycle by 24/7 Sports, added another 5-star in Tyler Atkinson. His commitment was a tough decision between the universities of Texas, Georgia, Oregon, and Clemson. Over in the MLB, the Texas Rangers, including All-Star Jacob deGrom, rested last night as the All-Star game went to a tie as the National League won the tiebreaker, leading to their second win over the past 10 years. Back in Texas, the Rangers are considering the team's needs with the Rangers record at 48-49. Just 3.5 games back from the AL wildcard as well. With the trade deadline on July 31st, teams are starting to decide if they are buyers or sellers, and the Rangers are yet to jump off the fence. On the offensive side, a possibility to reunite with outfielder Travis Jankowski is alive, as he became a free agent on Monday. For pitching reliever Raisel Iglesias of the Braves could add some depth and experience, with Iglesias being 35 with 42 strikeouts. With your Texas in the Morning Sports Report, I'm Jet Nelson.
A first at the Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. With the game tied at 6, the National League beat the American League in the first ever swing-off. Phillies' Kyle Schwarber smacked 3 homers in the swing-off to lead the NL to a 4-3 advantage. Was named the All-Star Game MVP.
A lot of guys who are way more deserving of that, this award, but I'm just happy that it's going to be, we get a win with the National League and that it's going to be coming home with us in Philly.
Teams have a few more days off before opening up the unofficial second half of the season on Friday. NFL Chiefs signed right guard Trey Smith to a 4-year extension worth $94 million with $70 million guaranteed, making Smith the highest paid interior lineman in NFL history. Jets signing corner Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120 million extension. Fever star guard Caitlin Clark left last night's win over the Sun due to a groin injury. That's sports. I'm Ronza Moss.
AccuWeather says highs today should be up to 103, 104. Gee, wow. The same thing tomorrow. low 100s. Same thing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be like from 100 to 103 over the next 4 or 5 days. Right now, it is 80 degrees here at News Talk 710 KURV in Mission, Texas. Border Bridge wait times is posted on KURV.com. Let's see if we got the latest numbers. So if you're driving back to McAllen, it's about 30, 40 minutes at the Far Bridge. Also at the Hidalgo Bridge. Those are the busiest ones. And let's see here. If you're driving back to Brownsville, latest report from them is it's not bad. 10 to 15 minutes at Gateway and Veterans. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. News Talk 710 KURV is also at Radio Para Mi. Hope you download that free app. Join us on your smart device, on your smartphone at Radio Para Mi. Check the business news up next. And whether it's for your house or, your business, your clinic, your firm, legal firm, whatever type of business, likely is you have a facility, an office the size of your house or a house, right? Think of Culligan and call them today to get better water, purified water, pure and simple solutions right there at your office, at your house. Only $35 a month. Culligan can send to you a highly trained water purification expert licensed by the state of Texas. Put in that water purification system with those state-of-the-art filters that last a long, long, long time, years and years. They change out those filters real early, though. Probably see you every year and a half to change them out. And make sure that you have a reliable, constant stream of satiating and healthy, great-tasting water, and never, ever the taste of plastic, the issues of leaving plastic bottles full of water in the SUV for a day. Oh, man, I forgot I was carrying that thing back there. And you know what happens? All that plasticky, smelly plastic taste and smell gets into that water. With Culligan, you'll never have that issue. And, of course, you get all that time back and that money that otherwise you'd be spending going back and forth all month purchasing bottled water. Be done with that. Get rid of those half-consumed bottles of water. Call Culligan, 956-399-1780.
Improve your overall health and enjoy a better quality of life with Dr. T's Primary Care. You're trying to set some new weight goals. If you're too moody or stressed out or just tired and trying to get more sleep, Dr. T's Primary Care can help you with all of that. And more if you're worried about things like low testosterone. Dr. T is a primary care provider from the sniffles to the flu and also offer menopause treatment, peptide treatment, and IV vitamin infusions. McAllen area, call 956-803-0058 and in Harlingen, 956-368-5247. That's drtsprimary.care.com.
At Rivetta's Machinery in Donna, they're bringing the best deals on Coyote equipment to your job site, your farm, or your backyard. Right now, take advantage of 0% interest or up to $6,000 cash back on Coyote track loaders and skid steers. These are machines built for maximum performance no matter the task. But don't stop there. They're also offering fantastic savings on Coyote tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles. And whether you're hauling something, mowing, tackling other big jobs, Coyote has the equipment to help you get it done. If you're looking for great deals and great service from a team that treats you like family, look no further than Rivetta's Machinery and Coyote. Start your next project right. Visit Rivetta's Machinery in Donna or browse their deals when it suits you at mynewtractor.com. That's their website, mynewtractor.com. Rivetta's for the long haul. See dealer for full details.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC. McAllen Mission.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Investors will get another inflation reading this morning as June's producer price index report rolls out. Dow Jones consensus estimates call for a 0.2% increase on a month-to-month basis. Data drops in 10 minutes. Goldman Sachs has reported second quarter earnings before the opening bell. Revenue came in at roughly $14.5 billion this year, which tops the $13.5 billion analysts had expected. Shares of the bank have climbed 23% this year alone. Pop Mart said it expects at least a 350% increase in profit for the first 6 months of 2025 and at least a 200% increase in revenue. An analyst said the negative stock reaction may be a reflection of investors' conservative outlook on Pop Mart's sales growth. Futures are mixed ahead of inflation data dropping in minutes. Monday, the Dow Industrials gained 88, the Nasdaq up 54, the S&P 500 up 8. That's your money now.
AccuWeather says highs should be up to 103 today, tomorrow, next day, day after that, even into Sunday. Anywhere between 100 and 103 over the next several days. Thank you much for joining us on the Valley's Morning News. Radio Para Mí is the free app. We hope you can join us there. Listen on your smartphone. A shout out to our friend Mario, one of our online friends. He said, "Hey, Serge, we got a Wiener Schnitzel in Brownsville, Texas." Okay, man. I'll go look for it. Absolutely. Next time. I was there yesterday. I could have gone yesterday. Check it out. We got Fox News coming up in 2 minutes. The Valley's Morning News on Newstalk 710 KURV.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
If your roofing system at your property were to fail, just start thinking, like improvising. How many days, how many weeks, how many potentially months might you be out of service? Not producing, not employing, manufacturing, no service, nothing. Shut you down. Maybe you have some tenants that would be very upset with you because that roofing system at your commercial property fails. This is when you need to call. Like right now, when there's not an issue and there's no tenants complaining at you and calling you and they're all upset, this is the time to call my friend Dale Johnson. I'm going to give you his personal number. Dale Johnson is at Chamberlain Roofing, and check out the name, waterproofing. It's all there, right? It's in the name. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, your commercial roofing systems. Now, you have no idea what's going on up there. My friend Dale Johnson and all the crew at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, yeah, they know. So get it checked out for free. Gratis, no expense to you. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing with an expanded line of new services in South Texas, valued warranties that you expect, and of course, cutting edge, leading edge roof installation, roof repair technology, and, as I mentioned in the name, waterproofing solutions. Call my friend Dale Johnson at Chamberlain Roofing, Waterproofing, 956-655-6178.
Your Houston Astros play here.
Left field. Good one. It's out of here.
Catch the action all season long on News Talk 710 KURV.
Deep to right field. And you can kiss it goodbye.
Don't miss the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd. We'll bring you each weeknight and weekend game with pregame and postgame coverage and all the action in between. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and News Talk 710 KURV.
Hi there, my name is Tony Bolstead. My wife and I, Carol, own Sand Monsters. We'd like you to come on out and have fun. We've got a half-mile long track out here. It runs across about 3.5 acres. Have adult cars and kid cars, getting laps in, learning how to drive on the sand. And we also lease space to Redline Helicopters is one of our tenants here, and they've got a pad and they do helicopter tours. Lone Star National Bank and the team there really helped us get this thing put together, answered all our questions, huge help.
I am Stephanie Harrison. I am the second generation owner of Sisters Interiors on South Padre Island. We had always dreamed of owning our own land and owning our own building, using our design team to create what you see here today. That's how we got involved with Lone Star National Bank. We partnered with them and they helped us, create the dream.
In the Rio Grande Valley, 18-wheeler traffic is heavier than anywhere else in Texas. So if you're involved in an accident, know that big insurance companies will not play fair because they only care about profits, not your health, not the costs you have incurred, and certainly not your pain and suffering. So if you're involved in an 18-wheeler accident, we will stop insurance companies from taking advantage of you. 1-800-CAR-CRUNCH.
The J. Gonzalez Law Firm, a force for justice.
News and information to start your day.
The Valley's Morning News.
News Talk 710 KURV.
Thank you much for waking up with News Talk 710 KURV. We are also at Radio Para Mi. Hope you can discover us. They're at that free app and that we can listen on your phone. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. Highs today should be up to 103. Right now, temperatures 80 to 82 degrees across South Texas. News on 710 KURV, a service of Jay Gonzalez Injury Attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. President Trump accusing California Senator Adam Schiff of mortgage fraud. Fox's Peter Ducey.
Part of the president's argument is this: I've always suspected Shifty Adam Schiff was a scam artist. Adam Schiff said that his primary residence was in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off America, when he must live in California because he was a congressman from California.
Schiff responding.
Members of Congress, almost all of them own more than one home or rent more than one home because we're required to be on both coasts.
He calls the attack a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein, quote, files problem. New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani is in Washington this morning for breakfast with New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC told reporters she wants people to meet him face to face and hear him out about his plans for New York City. America is listening to Fox News.
U.S. government saying they're going to be placing a 17% duty, a new tax on most fresh Mexican tomatoes.
Proponents say the import tax will help rebuild the shrinking U.S. tomato industry. Mexico currently floods the U.S. market, supplying about 70% of the tomatoes sold in the U.S., more than double what it was 2 decades ago.
The Mexican tomato market has just flat ruined the American tomato growers. We've lost most of our tomato production.
But opponents say the tariff will make fresh tomatoes more expensive for U.S. buyers. Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller says that's false.
Consumers not going to get hurt. We can gear those up. Tomatoes a quick crop, 60-day crop, 90 days tops. It gives us another opportunity to take assets we already have and put them back to work.
Not only that, but Miller says it'll create hundreds of jobs and help reduce the ag trade deficit.
Chelsea Wade with that report. President Donald Trump saying that he wants an upcoming redistricting effort in Texas to result in 5 more GOP seats. Governor Greg Abbott has added congressional redistricting to the agenda for the special legislative session that starts next Monday. Up in D.C., a dozen House Republicans voted to block a procedural vote yesterday over concerns about cryptocurrency legislation.
The move keeps the House from debating and eventually voting on 3 separate crypto bills and legislation to fund the Defense Department through next year. House Speaker Mike Johnson said after the vote that the hardliners want to see the crypto bills rolled up into one piece of legislation. Those include the Clarity Act, which looks to establish a regulatory framework for crypto asset markets, the Genius Act, which focuses on stable coins, a digital currency with value tied to a real-world asset, and the CBDC Surveillance State Act. That one would keep the Federal Reserve from coming out with its own digital currency in an effort to keep privacy and individual control over transactions. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Thank you much for joining us on the Valley's Morning News, 710 a.m. radio, also live at the moment. You can do a rewind if you go online. Radio Para Mi, download the free app. At Amigo Power Equipment in Edinburgh, JP and Jeff waiting for you today so you can get a great deal on the Kubota equipment that you need to get the job done. Make your land yours. The Kubota L Series, the compact tractor, is the nation's #1 compact tractor. You'll find it today at Amigo Power Equipment, along the Z Series mowers are there as well at Amigo Power. All the Kubota Sidekick utility vehicles that you expect to find right there at Amigo Power Equipment. Right now, some of the deals available. Check this out. Right now, get your Select L 2502 series for as low as $21,999 or $325 per month. Now through September 30th, you can go online, KubotaUSA.com, get some details on this, or just stop by, visit with JP and Jeff, and check out the specials. Again, Select L 2502 series for as low as $21,999 or $325 per month at your home for Kubota Equipment in South Texas. That's Amigo Power Equipment in Edinburgh on Monte Cristo.
Payne Commercial and Fleet has work solutions ready to maximize productivity and economy for your business. Payne Commercial and Fleet offers sales and lease options, custom options, specialized maintenance plans, plus on-site appraisals. Come see our selection of Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Volkswagen, and Mitsubishi vehicles, including cars, trucks, SUVs, and heavy-duty trucks, vans, and cab chassis. We have what you want at PayneAutoGroup.com.
Locate to get us regardless.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Stay tuned and get your brain stimulated. 710 KURV.
Your 7.
And so is our local economy. From sizzling business deals to community connections, News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app are here to keep you in the know. Download the Radio Potami app to stay informed and entertained. Whether it's local market updates, summer events, or the weather, we've got you covered. Support local, stay connected, and tune in to the pulse of Rio Grande Valley business. News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app, where local business